Here's a beef stew recipe. To make this recipe fast, we're going to use all these pots and pans. We're going to start this recipe off with one large white onion, and we're going to dice it up, a large dice, and we will put it in the large stock pot. Then we're going to dice up 5 large carrots, and you want to large dice these carrots as well. Now you could cook all the ingredients in one pot, but I find it actually takes longer to make the beef stew. Plus, you need to know when to add all the ingredients so certain items don't overcook. And we'll add the carrots to the stock pot. Then we're going to cut up 2 celery sticks and we'll large dice those as well. And we'll add 6 cups of water to this. And we'll move the stock pot to the fire and turn it on high. And we'll add 3 tablespoons of beef base and 1 teaspoon of thyme and 1 tablespoon of garlic powder and 1 tablespoon of onion powder. 1 tablespoon of parsley flake and cracked black pepper. I like to add a lot of cracked black pepper, and then I put in 6 drops of liquid smoke, and then I'll cover it. While that's cooking, I'll take a 1.5 pounds of bottom sirloin, and I'll trim the fat, and I'll cut it up. And I'll cut the steak into a large dice, and I'll put it into a bowl. I use bottom sirloin because I find it to cook faster than stew meats and find it less dry. It's the same steak as steak tips. We'll add some salt and some cracked black pepper and also some onion powder to the beef. We'll mix it up really well so the seasoning gets on all the beef. Check to make sure the soup's boiling. Then we'll heat up a hot skillet, pan spray it, and add the beef. Cook the beef in 2 batches. You don't want to overcrowd the skillet. Before we add the beef to the stock pot, we want to turn the flame down very low. And just have the soup at a low simmer. Once the beef is cooked, we'll add it to the stock pot. And we'll add the rest of the beef to the hot skillet. And make sure you cook all the sides of the beef. It doesn't have to be fully cooked, you just want to brown all the sides. Once you're done cooking the beef, add some water or red wine to the pan to deglaze and add it to the stock pot. Then we're going to dice up 1 pound of potatoes. I like to use these creamer potatoes. I either quarter or I cut them in half depending on the size of them. Remember when cutting them, you want them to fit on a spoon. I'll put the potatoes in a pot and I'll add some water to it and some salt. I'll put it on the fire and bring it up to a boil. Then when it's time to check the potatoes, I'll stab it with a fork. If it falls off, it's done. I'll strain it and I'll set them aside. I'll check on the soup and add 6 more cups of water to it. And I'll turn the flame on high. Then in a frying pan, I'll make a roux by heating up 1 stick of butter, and I will fully melt the butter. Once the butter is fully melted, then I'll add 3/4 cup of flour. And I'll stir it really well. This mixture should resemble wet sand, and I'll continue to cook it. For this stew, I'm trying to make a brown roux. Keep an eye on it because it can burn quickly. Constantly stir it. Once you get a nice brown color to it, then you're going to take 1 ladle of soup and you're going to pour it in it. Watch out, it can splatter. And then you stir it, and once you do that, then you can add it to the stew. You do this so it doesn't clump up when you add it, and it will blend a lot easier when mixing. Then you add the potatoes. Give it a nice stir. Taste it and determine if you need a little more salt or a little more pepper. And keep it on a high heat and stir it and make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. And we'll cook it a little longer before switching it to a lower flame. Then in a small bowl, we're going to use 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're going to add some water to that just to thicken it up. This is called a slurry. And we'll pour the slurry into the soup, and this will help thicken it as well as the roux does. Now, if the stew's not dark enough, you can always add a tablespoon of kitchen bouquet browning and seasoning sauce. Then I turn the heat up to high until it thickens up, and then it's done. Thank you for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and it will keep you up to date on all my new videos I release. Also, leave a comment on what you liked or what you didn't like, or what you'd like to see me cook next. Thanks again.